Hi everyone, this is Siddharth Shukla from Mirchi Plus and today I have with me the people from Taj, the show जिसके बारे में बहुत बात हो रही है सोशल मीडिया पे क्लिप्स बहुत वायरल हो रहे हैं everyone is talking about the performances, everyone is talking about the direction and everything about the show is good. So a very warm welcome Taha Shah and Abhimanyu Singh, the producer of the show. Welcome to Mirchi Plus guys.
Thank you, Siddharth.
Taha, I saw the show, I saw your performances, I saw your performances. Personally, मुझे आपके कैरेक्टर के लिए बुरा भी लग रहा था, मुझे गुस्सा भी आ रहा था. योर कैरेक्टर मुराद, इट्स बहुत सारे कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज के साथ वो होते हुए जाता है. सो आई वांट टू नो व्हाट वाज द रेफरेंस पॉइंट फॉर यू फॉर टू प्ले दिस कैरेक्टर.
So जब जब मैंने पहली बार पढ़ा था ये स्क्रिप्ट जब विलियम ने भेजी थी मुझे, so I felt that the character was very one dimensional, right? Like he didn't have an internal need, right? उसको बाहर से उसको they show कि of course उसको तख्त चाहिए, उसको he wants to rule and all that. That's an external need.
Yeah.
But why? Like what is the what has made him the way he is? So then when I was working on the script, I came up with a reason that he doesn't really want the throne. What he wants is his father's love, right? So then he's fighting for love, right? And so when I discussed it with Ron, I think he liked the idea, so we kept it. And so the why I'm saying this is because in my life I have also felt left out in a lot of situations, right?
Okay.
So I was growing up, when I was with my friends, or when just anywhere, just putting yourself out there sometimes just makes you feel really, really left out. And for some reason, even though you might be deserving of something or good for something, they still leave you out. So I think I kind of used all the rejections in my life, other experiences too. Then that was my reference point to go back in my life and kind of derive those memories and kind of break it down and see what made me feel what. So it was almost like a self-learning, self-spiritual journey. Of course, Murad is not very spiritual as such, but it was a spiritual journey for me as an actor to get to that character.
Yeah, and I think that was visible also. So from obviously episode 1 and 2, it was not, it was just the building up. But what you're saying about father's love, it was kind of visible from fourth or fifth episode, if I'm not wrong. But like once we are halfway through the show, right? So we get to know the emotional connect also, and it's not about just about the throne. It has various layers and various aspects of it, which brings me to Abhimanyu. Like, how do you decide, to basically bet on a show like Taj, like because it is amazing. Now we as an audience, after it's built, after it's made, as an audience we saw it, it's amazing. But when it is on papers, what was that point that made you green light the show?
See, I think the story of the whole Mughal Empire has all seen through rose-tinted glasses. If you look at Mughal-e-Azam, or you look at the great pieces of work, or you look at Jodha Akbar, it's always been about love stories. It's always been about monuments. The real story of the Mughals is actually the story of them being the bloodlines of the Mongols and the Turks, and they had a very bloody way of ascending the throne. And the succession battle is something which is very relevant even today. So if you look at whether in the backdrop of any political empire, or in the backdrop of any of an industrial empire, you see the same thing, or in a small village. It is something that happens in every generation, with every family, and that's the story I thought was the center point of Taj, and obviously to be able to tell the story, you needed people, you needed to break the way this story, or you have to read the story in a manner where it's not only sounded refreshing but looked refreshing. And that's where I think lots of good storytellers came together, whether it was Ron as as a director, or whether it was William as the writer and showrunner, whether it was Nasir Saab as Akbar, whether it was Taha as Murad, Ashim as as Salim, and Shubham as Danial, and the whole ensemble of I think good actors and good storytellers is something that we were able to put a story which I felt was the real story, and and the real germ of Taj.
Yeah, and like you said, there have been many, many stories, many pieces of content that have been made on Mughal era. But in Taj, I was taken, like, I was surprised when I was watching the show. I'm like, oh, ye bhi sach hai, ye bhi sach hai, ye bhi hua tha. There were many new elements that we get to see, we got to see, and that was actually, I would say, educating for the audience as well, and not just entertaining. Taha, I want to ask from you, was there, can you recall any challenging moment in the while shooting for this, while shooting for the show, and any scene that you felt, how would you crack, when you as an actor might have felt, oh my god, how do I crack this? Is there any challenging moment or scene or shooting point that that you can recall?
I mean, I guess challenges are in every scene. It depends on a lot of things. I mean, I never thought anything as difficult. Let's just say that it wasn't difficult. It was about the nuances. So and I believe this, and Nasir sir has put it in very great words. He says that anybody who is nervous, that means he's unprepared.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah,
so
yeah,
so I try to make it a point that it must be challenging for me, but challenging at home, not challenging on the set. When I'm on set, I'm there to explore. I'm there to take the director's vision and hopefully give him something higher. And then, then we can play along,
yes,
So the challenges, I guess, always happened as homework, whether I had to go
yeah,
back in
yeah,
my
yeah,
memory, relive those, whether we had to do the action training, fight with like, those 20 kgs of armor on you,
yeah,
riding horses, falling down, rolling, getting hit, and I love action. I personally, I love action. And so even that, I mean, because I have love towards it, it wasn't as challenging. But so yeah, everything, I guess, to me, to be very honest, every challenge was faced by the right amount of preparation.
yeah, and your scenes required a lot of physical strength, and what I perceived is, like, physically strong, but at the very same time, like you said, emotionally also, that person is fighting only. That Murad is fighting only, and the
Yeah,
good
yeah.
part is,
He should not just be a brute, right? He should be
yeah,
vulnerable. So when I turned Murad, when I finally came to it. So have you seen those injured puppies who get injured and they're on the road and anybody goes towards them, then they bite you, but they don't
yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah,
bite you, or
yeah,
they're
yeah,
not there to bite you, but they've got hurt, and so now they want to bite you because they're scared.
yeah, yeah,
So complexity of that is very important, and it should not just be like cutting everybody.
yeah.
That doesn't prove anything. So yeah, I guess the emotional vulnerability is very important in a character's journey, and to
It
complete the
is.
character's arc. So,
Yeah.
so yeah.
That's really nice. Abhimanyu, this question is to you. Besides Taj, you have also produced several other great pieces of content, like Stage of Siege is there, Sage is there, and there is also work going on television. So, as a creator, how do you maintain a balance between, कि ये इस वाली audience के लिए जाएगा, ये इस वाली audience के लिए जाएगा? What's the process for you?
So I think, there were a lot of shows where, cinema is told over 3 hours, 2 hours. And, television shows in India, they've largely been soaps,
Yeah, yeah,
and they've been told over 1,000 episodes, 5,000 episodes, 3,000 episodes, right? But there are various stories. And I think we are a land of stories. There are tremendous number of stories which fall in the bracket of, being able to tell in 8 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours. And this is what I think has been the most exciting time for all storytellers to explore this journey. Now, these beautiful stories, how do you tell them or retell them? Or how do you, how do you choose a topic which has length and breadth
yeah,
to
yeah,
go on for this 8-10 hours? And Taj, mind you, this is only the first season, right? So there are multiple seasons, and this goes right up till the decline of the empire. So there are going to be a number of seasons. So you must look at this as something that we saw as a 60, 70 70-hour premium drama series, told over various seasons, because it's a heavy show, right? And that's how we decided on this topic. It obviously took a long time to get it to life, because it's a high budget show. It needs the right kind of casting, right kind of writing. Then a huge, only 1 year. It's been a year since we finished shooting. It's taken 1 year in post production. That's how much time it takes. So, to answer your question, whether it's State of Siege. Now, State of Siege is something which I couldn't. Mumbai terror attacks could have been told in the film, but we decided to give the whole perspective of the NSG commandos, and that was a story that was not seen before, and that couldn't have been told in within a 1.5 hour as a cinema, and that's why we decided to tell it over 8 episodes. We also went, and that's in State of Siege, into Kasab story. So all that, so various angles to a story. As a storyteller, you realize that this is something that I can stretch over only these many hours of content, and that's what makes you decide on where it sits, whether it sits on films, whether it sits in, and some stories will fit even in cinema and on digital, and also in a television show. But largely, this is a time where on OTT you can tell many stories that you couldn't tell in the other mediums.
Yeah, I'll continue on that. So I've also heard people saying, OTT is a simple bet. OTT is a safer zone to play because of, there are no box office numbers involved. So do you also feel the same, that, if there is a story that you want to tell and you feel it might not fit into TV, it might not fit in the film, so let's make it on OTT. Do you also believe in the same?
I believe that everything needs to make commercial sense, and if it doesn't make commercial sense, then obviously art and comms needs to go hand in glove for it to be sustainable. So we always we want to do something which makes commercial sense for our partners. We don't want to just create content and pat ourselves on the back saying, "Oh, how beautiful is it?" We want audiences to, and that's that's the center of our thought process.
Nice. Talking about OTT, Taha, you have been here in the industry for quite some time now. If I'm not wrong, it's been a decade. I guess your first film was Love Ka the End, if I'm not wrong. And since then, there has been a lot of changes in the industry that have happened, especially the OTT platforms coming into play. Do you think it has changed things for you? OTT coming in has changed things for you?
Of course. I mean, OTT has changed things for every creative person in this industry. And at the end of the day, like Abhimanyu was rightfully saying, we are a country of stories, and nowadays with so many OTT platforms, with almost all the regional cinemas also coming into the forefront, regional cinemas or whatever, all are becoming a huge Indian cinema altogether, which is massive. So, we used to anyway make about almost 1,000 films, I guess, per year, putting all together. I mean, what happens to the films? There's only so many films that you actually hear about, but there's so many other good films as well, but they don't have an opportunity to invest. Like he said, it doesn't commercially make sense to invest so much in a P&A. So, of course, OTT platforms have then given them a chance to release their films on the basis of the strength of the content and not about your bank balance or how much money you can invest in the marketing. So so it's helped the producers, it's helped the directors to take a chance. I guess initially OTT did not have a major censor board. I feel now there is some sort of a censor board, which is so I guess previously the content, I mean, people still make whatever content they want. I'm not talking about that, but I'm saying that when good content gets a good place, it reaches more people, and then it connects to more people. And, for me, Taj has given me a new, a new life. and I'm very grateful to Abhimanyu to consider me and took me under his wing, and of course Ron and William, they also supported. So and Raghav from Z5. So it was all meant to be. I know I was not Ron's first choice, but
Okay.
but it worked out in such a way that William stood by me, and it just kind of worked out. And then I guess Abhimanyu also must have nodded his head, of course. And
I,
so yeah, it's just
I presented a lot.
you presented a lot. Yeah, I know. I mean, of course, you're.
And you're glad.
Don't worry about it. I didn't. Taha,
No, that's okay.
And I must say something about Taha. I've told this to him again and again, that he's hungry, and that's most important in any aspect. Whether you're an athlete, whether you're an actor, you need to have the hunger. So I think he's got the hunger to go a long way. And all the best to him.
Yeah, he was actually really good, and the amount of it shows on screen when you're trying, when the hard work shows on screen. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say.
That's all matters.
Yeah. And so, Taha, do you like, we're talking about OTT? So, do you feel the approach towards a character and the approach to play a certain part, and also the freedom to express is more on OTT, or they are different on different mediums, films and OTT?
Well, I would say that Taj is made on the level of a film, like any huge budget film. That's what Taj has been made on, So you can't really differentiate between such a well shot series, with such an incredible budget, to just because something else is made as a film. So there is no comparison. In the end of the day, it is just a longer format. It has a longer character graph. It has a lot of storylines, A, B, C, D, E, F. Maybe in a film you might just have two storylines, maybe three. So yeah, I don't think that the acting is different. I do feel that maybe TV acting would be a little different. Maybe it's a bit quicker.
Okay.
There's a lot of things TV have to follow, but but as far as series are concerned, it has its space if you work at such a.
The art is the lines are blurring between OTT and cinema, because if you look at it, yes, obviously it's more hours of content, but your whole your the way you post produce a show, the way you produce a show, and the whole assembly line is very similar to the way you create content on cinema. And it's blurring quickly because people are exposed to the West also, and they're seeing premium content. If you're paying for content, then you deserve to be served something which is spectacular.
Yeah, of course, and you're actually right, because songs and all are still again becoming a part of the even the as an audience, I can say the presentation part, it's something similar on those lines. My next question is to you, Abhimanyu. We often hear a lot about remakes. A lot of remakes are happening. Some are falling. For some things are falling in place. For some are not. You as a creator, you as a producer, on the other side, what's your take on remakes? Like, are you are you in favor of it? What's your thought? What are your thoughts on that?
Remake formats. You're saying formats being remade in India.
Yeah, so maybe a film getting remake. Lots of films are getting remade in India from maybe किसी और region से किसी और region में films are getting remade.
Basically, I think it all boils down to the commerce of doing this business, right? So if you feel that a remake is a better bet in that region because it's worked in another region, then ultimately it needs to work for not only the audiences, also for the platforms who are putting the money and the producer who's putting the hard. But I believe that we can create a lot of original content, and if we focus on doing that, that will really give the impetus to our creative economy as a country, which I feel India must now serve its content out to the world. And in light of that, I think that's the way we'll be able to export our content to the world. Our format should be built, should be licensed in the world.
Remade.
So we need to reverse this, phenomenon of taking content from the West and making it here, and make content here which the West should watch. So I think that it'll all come. It's just a matter of time. It's early days for us. We've not had paid subscription-based content that has been created. It's only of recent times with the advent of OTT that it's been happening. You see all that, and therefore I believe that we create a lot of original content, and that's what we should focus our energies on. And obviously, then from case to there will always be remakes that you can't take, commerce or business.
Right. My last question to you both. I'll start with you, Taha. I also, could you tell us something about your future projects? Like, what are you working on? Because after watching, especially, I would say, people liked your work, but after especially watching Taj, people do want to see you more. So what are you working on? What projects do you have? Also, if given a chance, are you okay working on TV?
All right. So first of all, let's talk about the TV one. So TV is a very different format, and it's not something that I'm inclined towards. I'm I've always been a cineast. I've always loved the movies. I mean, that's my first love. Of course, with OTT, that's my Sultan. But no TV for me. And as far as new projects are concerned, I really hope that Abhimanyu, give me a chance, man.
We're already talking to him. we can't talk in front of other people, but yes, we are talking to him.
We're glad the talks are on.
No, Abhimanyu has always treated me very, very nicely, bro. He's like an elder brother, and he speaks so well. It's always good listening to him. I get to learn such great one-liners from him about it's just very nice to listen to you, Abhimanyu. And
you're signed. After all the praise that you're giving me, you're signed.
Oh man, funny.
Amazing.
I tell you, it's funny guy, man. All right. Okay. Yeah. No. So I can't really speak much about my future projects, but I will tell you this: that the future is looking very bright, and I'm very, very excited that like I said, Taj has given me a new step into my career, and something I've been dreaming and hoping and begging to God that I get for the last almost 12, 13 years, and finally I got it. So I'm very, very grateful, and it's just inshallah just upwards from here.
For sure. Abhimanyu, this is to you. I know you already mentioned that there are more seasons, but just wanted the confirmation. Are we getting to see the season 2 and more seasons? Because season 1 के बाद ये लगा था वो जो वाली feeling आती है ना कि shit आगे भी देखना था, ये क्या हो गया है? So are we getting it?
All I can say, Siddharth, is that you'll get very good news very soon.
Nice. For sure. I'm very sure audiences will be like, अभी उनको और they'll be intrigued. अभी जल्दी आए.
Thank you so much. But you'll get it sooner than expected. So, I guess your prayers and your good wishes will be answered soon.
Hopefully. And besides Taj, is there any other project that you can, basically tell us about that you're producing?
All the that most we're bound by confidentiality. So we obviously I can't be discussing those at this stage, but I can obviously discuss what I am already currently making, which is the history of India, which is from the arrival of the Portuguese till the independence of India in 1947, and that's a large big story.
Wow.
To celebrate 75 years of Indian independence, right from the arrival of Vasco da Gama. And this goes from Portuguese to the Dutch to the French, the fight back of India, and then to modern India, to the mutiny, and after the mutiny to modern India, where it's a lot about the unsung heroes who fought for
Yeah.
our motherland.
Got it. Amazing, amazing. All the very best for the, for all the upcoming projects, and I'm sure our audience, including myself, cannot wait. Like I personally am inclined towards history, so and shows like these and that they are very intriguing. All the very best, and it was amazing talking to you guys.
Thank you, Siddharth.
Thanks a lot, Siddharth.
Hi, my name is Taha Shah Badussha, and you are watching me on Mirchi Plus.
I am Abhimanyu Singh, and you're watching me on Mirchi Plus.